Cliff Richard, born Harry Roger Webb on October 14, 1940, in Lucknow, India, came into the world under unique and challenging circumstances. His family moved to England in 1948, after India gained independence, settling in the small town of Cheshunt, Hertfordshire. Although the family faced financial struggles, young Cliff found solace and inspiration in music. He developed a deep love for rock and roll, especially American legends like Elvis Presley, Little Richard, and Buddy Holly. These early influences ignited his passion for music and set the foundation for his future career. In 1958, adopting the stage name Cliff Richard, he started performing with his band, The Drifters, later renamed The Shadows. Their debut single, Move It, became one of the first authentic British rock and roll songs, establishing Cliff as a key figure in the British music scene. Cliff Richard, Britain's first rock star. Cliff Richard quickly rose to prominence as Britain's very first rock star. His energetic stage presence, good looks, and rockabilly style made him a sensation in the late 1950s. He was the face of a new wave of British youth culture that embraced American rock and roll. His first hit, Move It, paved the way for a series of successful singles, including Living Doll, The Young Ones, and Summer Holiday. In addition to his music, Cliff ventured into acting, starring in several popular musical films that cemented his place in British pop culture. Despite the arrival of the Beatles and the British invasion, Cliff remained relevant by adapting to changing musical trends while retaining his signature style and youthful energy. The 1960s, a rock icon and film star. Throughout the 1960s, Cliff Richard expanded his influence both as a musician and as an actor. He continued to release hit songs, many of which became enduring classics, such as Bachelor Boy and The Young Ones. At the same time, Cliff enjoyed a successful career in film, starring in several musical comedies that were beloved by his fans. His ability to evolve with the times while staying true to his musical roots helped him maintain his place at the top of the charts. He became a beloved figure in the UK, known not just for his catchy tunes, but also for his clean-cut image and youthful charisma. His commitment to family values and his moral compass set him apart from many of his contemporaries. Adapting to change, the 1970s and musical evolution. As the 1970s arrived, Cliff Richard faced the challenge of remaining relevant in an ever-changing music landscape. Rather than being swept away by the new wave of artists, he reinvented himself, moving from a teen idol to a mature artist with a more contemporary sound. His songs, such as Devil Woman, We Don't Talk Anymore, and Wired for Sound, marked his transition into more complex and introspective material. Cliff also embraced new musical styles, including disco and synthpop, demonstrating his versatility and willingness to experiment. This ability to adapt while maintaining his distinctive voice and appeal allowed him to remain a major force in the music world, connecting with both older fans and new generations. Faith and music, Cliff Richard's spiritual journey. Cliff Richard's faith has always been a central part of his identity. He became a devout Christian in the mid-1960s, and his spiritual beliefs deeply influenced both his personal life and his music. Throughout his career, Cliff was known for refusing to compromise his values, even when faced with the pressures of fame and the often morally ambiguous world of show business. He turned away from the wild party scenes and embraced a clean image, dedicating his life to service and faith. His music, particularly his religious-themed songs like Mary's Boy Child and Oh My Lord, reflected his commitment to his beliefs. Cliff's decision to remain unmarried and child-free was also influenced by his faith. which made him a respected figure in both the music world and Christian communities. Cliff Richard's longevity, performing well into his 80s. Cliff Richard's commitment to his music remains unwavering, even in his 80s. He continues to perform and release music, with his 2020 album, The Air That I Breathe, reaching the UK top 5. His annual Christmas releases are still highly anticipated, and his tours continue to attract loyal fans, both from his early years and from newer audiences. Cliff's enduring success and powerful stage presence defy his age, and he remains one of the most respected and beloved figures in the music industry. His ability to stay relevant, constantly reinventing himself while maintaining his original charm, has ensured his place as a living legend in the world of pop music. Cliff Richard's personal life, a life of sacrifice and dedication. Throughout his career, Cliff Richard's personal life has often been a topic of quiet fascination for his fans. Much of his life has been shaped by the emotional sacrifices he made in order to maintain his public image and focus on his career. One of the most defining moments of his early adulthood was the loss of his father, Roger Webb, in 1961. At just 21 years old, Cliff had to navigate the responsibilities of adulthood, including taking care of his mother and sisters. This loss profoundly affected him, and he often spoke of the emotional toll it took. Cliff's commitment to his family would shape many of his later decisions, especially regarding relationships. His career and family obligations often took precedence over romantic commitments, leading him to remain a lifelong bachelor. Caring for family, the impact of his mother's illness. Cliff's personal struggles didn't end with the loss of his father. In the 1990s and 2000s, he faced the slow decline of his mother, Dorothy Webb, who battled Alzheimer's disease for a decade before her passing in 2007. Caring for her during this challenging time was emotionally draining for Cliff and his family. In interviews, he opened up about the strain of watching his mother's memory deteriorate, a process that served as a stark reminder of life's fragility. Despite the emotional and physical toll of caring for his mother, Cliff remained devoted to his family, showing the same level of care and responsibility he had exhibited throughout his life. His strength during this time further endeared him to his fans, who saw him not just as a pop star, but as a deeply compassionate person. Romantic relationships, the personal toll of fame. Cliff Richard's personal life has often been marked by a series of romantic relationships that never reached the level of permanence. His first serious girlfriend, Australian-born dancer Delia Wicks, was part of his life during the early years of his fame. However, as his career began to take off, Cliff made the painful decision to end the relationship, as he felt he couldn't commit to her while balancing his burgeoning career. This decision, which he expressed in a heartfelt letter to Delia, highlighted the emotional toll of fame and the sacrifices it required. Over the years, Cliff had brief romances with other women, but his career always took precedence. His reluctance to settle down was due in part to his deep sense of duty to his family and fans, as well as his commitment to his music. Cliff's deep admiration for Elvis, a spiritual connection. Cliff Richard's admiration for Elvis Presley went beyond just music. It was also rooted in a shared spiritual connection. Both men were devout Christians, though they expressed their faith in different ways. Cliff often spoke about the similarities he saw in Elvis, noting how both of them shared a deep yearning for meaning and purpose in their lives. He also acknowledged that he felt a sense of personal loss when Elvis passed away in 1977. Cliff had never met Elvis, but he described his death as losing a spiritual brother and an artistic twin. Elvis's passing hit Cliff harder than most people knew, and his reflections on their shared experiences serve as a heartfelt tribute to the man who shaped his own musical journey. A final tribute, honoring Elvis Presley's legacy. In his recent reflections, Cliff Richard has offered a moving tribute to the man who inspired him to become a musician. For Cliff, Elvis Presley was not just a musical idol, but also a guiding figure who influenced his career and his understanding of faith. Cliff's emotional acknowledgement of his deep connection to Elvis and the sense of loss he felt upon his death has offered fans an intimate look at his journey. By breaking his silence and reflecting on his admiration for Elvis, Cliff has honored the memory of the man who unknowingly guided his path, and in doing so, has left a touching tribute to one of the greatest musicians of all time.